Hi guys, my name is Girish, the host for Back2Basics, another Back2Basics for another week, another day. It's crazy how excited I am in every episode that I've done so far, and I've been blessed to have you guys giving me all the support. So today we have a person that I talk to almost every other day on Clubhouse, and he's a powerhouse. I'm telling you, he is great with information, he's great with whatever he's doing. And we're going to talk to him today. His name is Sid Meadows. And gosh, let me tell you, Sid Meadows is the person to go and talk to about entrepreneurship, about business, about what he does not do, and what does he do for fun. So we're going to talk about that too. So Sid, how are you? And thanks for coming to Back2Basics.
Oh, hey, Girish. I'm doing great today, and I'm really glad to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for coming here on Back2Basics. So before we get into all the fun talk that we're going to have today, what does Back2Basic mean to you?
So in its simplest term, it means getting back to almost the beginning, right? Just simplifying everything and to stop overthinking everything and just get back to the basics of doing what we know how to do in its simplest form.
Yeah. Well, that's as simple as that, isn't it?
Sometimes it is.
Sometimes we complicate things, and it's as simple as an answer. So thank you again for that.
Oh, sure. I think as entrepreneurs, we overcomplicate things when we don't need to.
That's right. I totally agree with that. And thank you so much, Sid, for coming here again. And it's definitely my honor. Speak with you almost every day, every other day on Clubhouse, on different rooms, and you'll come to my room and supported my club and everything else. So thank you for all the support. So Sid, first of all, what do you do, and what do you do throughout the day? Because it seems like you do so much. You're on
That's
Clubhouse. You're on Clubhouse. You go on football games and soccer games and everything else. Plus, you do a lot of traveling, and then you do podcast stuff. Where do you get the time?
I wish I could tell you that I actually manufacture it, but I don't because time is the scarcest resource that we all have. But, answer your first question, what do? I'm Sid Meadows, and I'm a business strategist and high-performance coach. And I work with entrepreneurs to help them build their business and grow their business and scale their businesses. Okay. And I do that in a variety of different ways, but really my focus is on working with entrepreneurs and helping them along their journey so that we can all build the businesses of our dreams. So that's my focus.
Okay, so out of that focus, what are the three main things that people that come to you saying, Sid, I really need your help?
Oh, it's a really great question. And I'm going to try to narrow it down to three, but there's probably a lot more than this. But, one of the first things I hear from entrepreneurs is, I've got all these ideas. How do I narrow them down and get really focused on one or two ideas that are going to propel my business forward? Entrepreneurs are creatives at heart, whether we want to admit it or not.
Yeah.
And our brains are always working.
Always, right.
And we're always, those shiny objects, they come up all the time, Girish. And, it's important to be able to filter through them because not all the ideas that we have are shiny objects. We just need to figure out which ones are best for our business. Okay. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, because I'm a business strategist, is really breaking down complex problems and helping people strategize about how to move forward. Mm-hmm. And, a problem doesn't always have to be complex, but when you start peeling back the layers of the onion, if you will, of a problem, mm-hmm. they can be quite complex. And solving those problems has been something that I have done since early on in my career in really taking a problem and breaking it down into simple, easy to understand steps in order to make sure that we resolve the problem. Okay. And then the third thing is directly tied to your question about time, and that is productivity and time management. As a high-performance coach, it's one of the things that I'm really focused on is helping people understand how to be productive and manage their time effectively. And that doesn't mean having a page of to-do list things to do to check off for the day. Yeah. So those are really probably the three things that people, ideas, business strategy, solving complex problems in their business, and then productivity and time management right now are likely the three that are most requested.
Thank you so much for that. So all these things, do you think that you studied for this, or it just came with experience and then you kind of have an idea? Do you have a database that you go to, like a WebMD type of for businesses? What do you go with? What database do you use, or do you just have your experiences?
So I don't have a database. I'll be the first to admit I don't have a database. However, I'm a student, Girish. I'm a student.
Yeah.
And I'm always learning and growing. And I take all those learning and growing and all those things the knowledge that I gain through my experience over the last 30 years in business, but also in the last 5 or 6 years since I've really been focused on professional development and growth. And I pull all those together in order to be a resource to my clients. Everybody's issues are unique and different. And there's not a one size fits all for any business owner or any entrepreneur. And so I just collect all that data, if you will, as knowledge and file it away. I have a bookshelf full of books because I'm an avid reader. I read between 13 and 15 books a year. I'm also a podcast junkie. Not only do I host 2 podcasts and then do guest appearances on podcasts, I'm an avid listener of podcasts as well. And so I'm always learning and collecting information that I think will be beneficial to me and to my clients.
Yeah.
And then the third thing that I would say with this is about 5 years ago, I made the strategic decision to really invest in myself. And what I mean by that is that's when I really started my professional development journey. I always kind of knew it was there, but I was working in corporate America at the time, and my bosses didn't really believe in it. It wasn't something that we talked about a lot. When I became an entrepreneur, the world of professional development just exploded for me. And 2 of the things that I did was invested in myself to become a certified professional coach. And that journey alone to get my first certification, I have 3 certifications now. So I'm a certified professional coach and then an energy leadership coach. That journey was a year long. And I did a lot of self-discovery, a tremendous amount of learning through that process. And then after I got that, I wanted to keep going for some crazy reason. I'm glad I did. But after I did that, then I became a certified high performance coach. And both of these certifications require continuing education and learning. I always have a coach that I work with. I'm always continuing to invest in myself and learn more because I have a mastery goal. And what that means is that I have a goal to master the art of coaching. And that is something that does not have a finish line. There's no way that I will know that I mastered anything because mastery means continuous learning and education and growth.
That's right.
Yeah. So I am mastering the art of coaching by continuing to invest in myself, by hiring a coach, continuing education and learning more and reading more and listening to conversations around coaching.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sid. Just give me 1 second here. Let me go and talk to my audience 1 second.
Oh, yeah.
So Sid says that when he was learning, he kept on learning and he kept on learning because, the key is that if you stop learning, then I think you're just stagnant and you're not really moving anywhere. What do I call it? I call it fixed mindset. In order to get to your growth mindset, what you're trying to do is to keep on learning and listening. That's one thing. And you're reading and reading and reading and listening to other people because there might be certain ideas that you want to adapt to yourself too to make yourself better. And I think that's what Sid did. So we'll go back to Sid. How about that? So Sid, thank you so much for that. So time management. How do you put time management for your life? Because you do so much, it looks like, right? So how does that play? Do you use that same business aspect into your personal life too at the same time?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely have to. And part of the reason why is because you follow me on social media. We're connected there. And I'm always posting about my personal life. I have 2 very active teenage children. Both of them are athletes. My daughter plays collegiate soccer at a Division I school. My son is a junior in high school. and playing football and soon to be playing soccer and runs track. And, you know, what I decided part of the reason why I became an entrepreneur was to be able to spend time with my family and to invest in my family. Because the 30 years prior to that, when I was working in corporate America, 15 of those years, Girish, I was on the road 6 to 7 days a week.
Sure.
And so I missed a lot of their life growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And I was determined 5 years ago when I started this journey that was not going to happen. And so everything for me is about scheduling. And if it's not on my calendar, it doesn't get done. And I use a concept, a lot of your listeners may have heard of this, but I use a concept called block timing. And I block time on my calendar for everything. And if it's not on my calendar, it's not going to get done. And I also block time for my personal life. So I have a goal, for example, to only work 4 days a week, Monday to Thursday. I have a goal that by the end of 2022, Fridays will be an off day. And I'm getting close because I have 3/4 of Friday blocked off already. Now I just have to change the behavior of a couple of my clients to get them to move to another day besides Friday. But I'm working really, really close to getting Fridays as an off day. Well, the only way I can do that is by prioritizing my day and the things that I do. So I start my day around 5:30 in the morning. That's just me. I'm an early person, but I also go to bed early. So I'm an early riser, and then I go to bed early too.
Of course.
But, you know, I have habits that I think are really important to me, like at 6:30, except one night a week at 6:30, I walk out of my office and I close the door.
Yeah.
And I go spend time with my family because that's about the time my kids are coming, my son's coming home. It's about the time my wife is getting home. And so that's family time. And then I do take Saturday mornings and Sunday mornings early for the first 3 to 4 hours of the day. So for me, that's from like 6 to 10 or 6 to 9, something like that. And I can power through a lot of things. That's kind of when I work in my business, if you will. The rest of the time I'm working on my business, working with clients, doing things strategic. So for me, it's time management and productivity is about calendar management.
Yeah, thank you so much, by the way, Sid. That's your fun side. So now let's go back to the business side, if you don't mind, because I want people to understand that, you know, time management, when we say time management, is not always about business, because it could be adapted to your personal life too. I do it all the time. I mean, you know, and I know I release episodes every day on my podcast. And people, they say, how do you get time to spend time with your family? Well, it's all about time management. Try to balance out between the two sides that I have. So thank you again for that, Sid, and explaining that, because I'm tired of explaining to people. So I'll put this episode on and people will come to this here instead. So thank you again. So
Well, Girish, I'll add to that real quickly. I think one of the things that is important is to also plan buffer time. Like I had you on my calendar for an hour, and 15 minutes before our scheduled time slot, I had blocked that off. That's strategic.
That's right.
To allow me to prepare for this, both mentally, get situated at my desk, clear all the stuff around, but also because my clients have access to my calendar to prevent anyone else from scheduling that and me rushing from one thing to the next. It also gives me a 15-minute break. I can take the dogs outside. I can walk around. I can stretch. I can give myself mentally a break. That's as important as actually the schedule of things you're trying to do to give yourself a break so that you can power through the next one, if that makes sense.
That makes total sense, because I think that's why I did that 1 hour buffer, because you know what, there might be something we just need to chit chat right before the call. We might need to chit chat right after the call. So I think we do need some downtime sometimes. So thank you again for acknowledging that, by the way.
Well, and the other thing that I'll tell your listeners is, you know, blog timing can be so valuable if you do it the right way. Like I would ask your listeners, is your email box open all day long?
Who's mine?
Because email is, no, just even your listeners.
Yeah.
If your email box is open all day long, that is a total distraction from you. Because when you hear that ding or you look over and you see you've got emails, what do? You turn your head or wherever it is and you look at that email and you start answering it. Then you come back to the work. Well, you've lost focus.
That's right.
You've lost focus. You've interrupted your thought process and the activity that you were doing that was right in front of you. So I have time blocks on my calendar to check my email so that it's not open all day long. And that's a key tip right there to do what I call power blocks. So I have a power block. That's my email. It's 45 minutes. It's 3 times a day. I check it and then I'm done with it. If I finish early and I close it. And then I go on to the next thing that I want to do, whether it's a podcast recording, working with a client or whatever it is. And I keep those in those power blocks and I don't get distracted by the mundane noise that is around us on a daily basis because it's everywhere.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Sid, for that. Yeah. So the next question that I have is, what does entrepreneurship mean to you? What does it mean?
So for me, being an entrepreneur means fulfilling and living my freedoms.
Okay.
And what I mean is my personal freedom, my professional freedom, and my financial freedom. Mm-hmm. So to make as much money or as little money as I want to make, I get to choose what it is I want to do and how much money that I want to make based on the programs or the strategies or the things that I'm implementing. Okay. Mm-hmm. Secondly, it gives me that professional freedom to say, this is who I'm going to work with. This is who I'm not going to work with. This is what I'm going to do. This is not what I'm going to do. It gives me that choice. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then the personal freedom, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, to put time on my calendar to go spend with my children and to watch them in their activities and doing those things with my wife and my son and my daughter that are really important to me so that I get to live my freedoms. Because for 30 plus years, Girish, somebody else controlled my life. Somebody else controlled my calendar. Somebody else told me where I needed to go and when I needed to be there and what I needed to do. Mm-hmm. In this season of my life, it's my freedoms. And I'm the one that gets to make those decisions and control and step into living those freedoms. So that's what it really means to me.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much for that, because it seems like entrepreneurship, for many different guests that I've had on the show, I had different definitions for that, and your definition is the way you described, so thank you again for that. Now, what's the difference between entrepreneurship and solopreneurship and all the preneurships that you can think of?
There's a lot of them out there right now.
Yes, they are.
Certainly there's a really big initiative, not even initiative, but there's certainly a big wave happening of people moving into the world of entrepreneurship for a lot of different reasons.
Yeah.
And I applaud any and every person that is willing to step into this and to jump onto this journey, because it is an absolute crazy journey full of ups and downs and hills and valleys. They want you to believe it is a pathway straight up and it just keeps going, and it's not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But to me, they're one and all the same. To me, I don't really differentiate between a solopreneur, a micropreneur, an entrepreneur. They're all the same thing. Whether you are individual by yourself or it's you and a partner, or if you have a team of 30 people, if you've stepped out on your own and you've invested your own money and you're doing your own thing, building your own business, you are an entrepreneur. It doesn't matter the size of the business or whether you're a Fiverr worker and you put your services up for sale there, you're still an entrepreneur. We're all doing it differently, but that's okay. That's what's so great about where we live and the time that we're living in right now, because there's so much opportunity for people that want to step in and to control their own destiny. And I think that's really what it's about.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that, because, I was looking at the entrepreneurship and the solopreneurship and all the other preneurships that you can think of. I think the definition was that how much people are employed to you and all that stuff, and the size of the company and all that. But I think at the end of the day, you're the boss no matter what you do. Right? Yep. So I think those are just technicalities, but I think at the end of the day, I think we're just all entrepreneurship people here. So yeah, thank you again for that. So Sid, one last question, if you don't mind. What does success mean to you?
What does success mean to me? Well, that's a really good question. And so to me, I'm going to kind of tag on to something I said a minute ago. For 30 years, my life was controlled by someone else. And I had a really big paycheck. I was a senior vice president of sales. I mean, I had everything that I wanted, right? But I was missing out on so much of my family. I mean, I was really missing out. Though I tried, it was always really hard. When dad had to leave on a Sunday afternoon and not come back until Friday.
Sure.
And, go to 3 cities and living out of a suitcase. I always had another suitcase packed. Always had 2 of everything, right? So for me, success is about me balancing and integrating my family life and my work life, but yet being able to have an impact and changing the lives of other entrepreneurs.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that, by the way, Sid. So just give me 1 second. Let me go and talk to my audience 1 second. So success means many different ways. Success means that I'm making 10K and then later on I'm making 100K. That's a money success. Now, the other success is that you have family around you. That's your other success. The other success is all about health, making sure that you're fit. You want to be available for your kids' weddings and their grandkids and all that stuff, right? So that's your success. So what's your definition of success? How about you just comment that in the reviews and tell me what you think about that. So Sid, thank you again for that. Now, before you leave today, okay, a trick question here, Sid, okay?
I'm ready.
Now, you have done so much for the last 20 plus years. And then I've known you for, I don't know how many months I've known you. Okay. What is Sid for the next 5 more years? Dude,
you have some really great questions and I appreciate that. And that's actually a really easy question for me to answer. Okay. The next 5 years for me is about creating a sustainable income and growth. Okay. That allows me to have maximum impact. And for me, that is about supporting entrepreneurs. Because here's the thing, Girish, that I learned really early into my career being an entrepreneur, is this is a lonely journey.
Sure.
This is a bumpy road. And there are people in our lives that love us and care about us, but don't understand the journey that we're on because they're not an entrepreneur. Okay. So really for me, the next 5 years is about supporting and empowering entrepreneurs to build the business of their dreams. To do that by creating a community of entrepreneurs, by having conversations and providing a place for entrepreneurs where they can stand up and say who they are and what they do, and we can celebrate their successes. We can be there when they have a bump in the road, when things don't go as well as they want them to go. So for me, it's about community. And I'm doing that very thing in launching a community of entrepreneurs that can all come together and learn, grow, and thrive, but most importantly, support each other, because we don't have to walk this path alone, and no one should. But yet, the people that love us, if they're not an entrepreneur, they don't get it. So I'm actually creating, for the next 5 years, what I will be focusing on is creating what I needed when I started my journey as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, thank you so much. I thought you were going to say that coming on Back to Basics was the next 5 years, and
that was actually one of my top goals.
That should have been your top goals.
Yeah, it was one of my top goals for the next 5 years.
Sid, I thought I gave you enough money to go and say that. What's wrong with you? Thank you.
That's great. That's awesome, Girish.
But Sid, thank you so much for coming here on my show, making this brighter for me. And you and I talk almost literally every other day. And now I finally have met you online. I've met you before too, but that's another story for another day. But thank you so much, Sid, for coming here and giving me all the support.
Well, it's my pleasure. I hope that your audience got some value out of the conversation today. And if any of your audience is on Clubhouse, they're certainly welcome to come join us as we get to hang out on a daily basis as well.
Yeah, thank you so much. We'll hang out with you, and then you'll hang out with my club. So definitely,
absolutely,
we should be coming on both clubs at the same time. So thank you again for that.
Sure, my pleasure.
Thank you, Sid, for coming on Back to Basics there. So, guys, we spoke about entrepreneurship. We talked about the goods and the bads and the uglies. That's what we talked about. And you know what? It's all about time management, right? And now just keep in mind that everyone's success story is different. Everyone's failure is different. Everyone's entrepreneurship is different. Anypreneurship is different, solopreneur, whatever you want to call it. But that's what it is. Still a bumpy ride. But you know what? There's one thing that he did say, that, you know what, it's all about family, how he wants to go and carry it. And I think that's a success story. So how about we just applaud to that for Sid. Now, as usual, as always, there is a quote for the day from Back to Basics. And here's a quote. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. That's by Winston Churchill. And guys, as usual, as always, what do I always say at the end of the episode? Everything in life goes back to basics, and that's what we did today, guys. Guys, you take care, God bless, and keep on commenting, good, bad, ugly, either way, it'll make my show stronger. And there are three things, you know and I know, the three things that we make this happen, which is the content, the guest, who are number one A+ always, and third, I beat everybody. The host is the best. Guys, take care. God bless. And I'll see you next week. Sid, did you like that? Did you like that, Sid?
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Yes, I did. I like how you pivot and talk to your audience in the middle of the episode. I think that's pretty cool, actually, because you likely do a quick little edit and then talk to that's actually really cool, doing it now rather than doing it post recording.
You know what? Because I want a little feedback from my guest, because you know what? This happened like in the very first time that I spoke with to my audience, and the guest says, you know what? Can I just say two more things after what you just said? So that's pretty cool, because you want some feedback from the guest itself too at the same time.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So you said you had something to tell me about. We're going to me to remind you to tell you something.
Yes.
You didn't say what. You just said remind you to tell me something.
Okay. So I wanted your feedback, if that's okay with you.
Sure.
So can I share my screen, if that's okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. So I have not launched this, and it will be launched next season. So this is what I've done so far. I wanted your feedback, and you tell me if this is good or bad or ugly. I've not even started anything yet. And this goes to my website, which is the Back to Basic website. So do you think this is okay? Or do you think...
Okay, so I give you my gut reaction. Can I give you my gut reaction to it? I don't like the sunglasses. I want to see your face.
Okay.
I want to see your eyes. I love what you're dressed in. That's really sharp and dapper. That's really cool. I wish I could pull off a bow tie.
That was my first time I did bow tie after so many years.
Oh, dude, I love it. I love bow ties. My son can wear bow ties. But I got such a short, squatty neck, I haven't been able to pull them off. But I would rather see your face. The other thing that I would say is that the yellow is really distracting.
Really?
It's really distracting. It's pretty much like I see the yellow, I'm like, oh my gosh. I don't mind it on the backdrop or in the letter, but the yellow, when you scroll down a little bit, even it's more. I would.
I can bring this smaller.
Yeah, but it also, from a brand perspective, I'm not a brand expert. Okay, remember, opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got them, and they all stink. Okay.
Yeah.
So take it for what it's worth.
Yeah.
But your branding here is green, and your website is yellow.
Yeah, you know what? The thought process is for my second season, I'm gonna make that. I'm gonna change it to a different color, because my thought process is, this is my thought process. The thought process is that next season it will be blue. The next season after that will be a yellow or whatever, you know. And I want to change it up a little instead of just the way that I. So yeah.
Have you looked at that? Have you looked at that yellow like on a phone or something, or had somebody else look at it? It's just really bright. I don't mind. I love yellow. It's my background on my Clubhouse photo, but it's really bright compared to the contrast of the dark.
Do you think that the yellow should be a little more darker? You think?
I would look at the contrast between the black and the yellow because it's like really hit you in the face.
Yeah,
Tone
yeah,
it
yeah.
down a little bit.
Yeah,
Like lighten the black or darken the yellow or something to make it balance a little bit
yeah.
more.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, it's really about the people that are going to your website. What is it that they're going to view of it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so for me, my websites are all very cool and warm because I'm going for a very welcoming feel. I have bright colors.
I had a thought process at the yellow. I
Yep.
originally had it gray, like light gray, like silver type, not gray,
Sure.
but silver.
Yep.
And I think that would have been just fine. I think.
Mhm.
I don't know. That was just my thought process. I'm still playing around with it, but this is obviously not the full draft. This is just the final.
Yep. Do you have just out of curiosity, Girish, have you ever worked with a branding coach?
No.
Personal branding?
No.
You should. You should talk to a branding coach. Do you know Chris?
Chris who?
Chris Baglio?
I think so.
He does the podcast with Amanda, the Chris and Amanda show.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Chris is a branding coach.
Okay.
And believe it or not, colors all have meanings and they all portray different emotions. And that's something to think about. And so you could reach out to Chris. I have no idea what Chris charges, but that's what he does is he helps people with personal branding.
Oh, okay. Well,
it might be worth a discovery call with Chris just to talk about it a little bit.
Yeah.
Like he's been working with Carrie Zarb on Carrie's new platform, and Carrie used bright colors, kind of neon colors where they're pink and blue against a black background, and they work really, really well. It might just be the color combination.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah,
so
it does.
You should reach out to Chris and just say, hey, and ask him to learn more about what he does.
Okay. Yeah. I'll play around with it. I'm still playing around with it.
Yep.
But I still have enough time till the next season comes in. This season is almost over. So
Are you doing weekly episodes next year too?
I'm
Or
doing
daily?
it.
Are you doing daily episodes?
Yeah. Is that crazy?
That's such a commitment. Oh my gosh.
Is that
It's a
crazy?
huge commitment. I mean, yes. I now have 2 podcasts. The trailer of the Amazing Entrepreneurs Club podcast launched today.
Yeah.
It'll probably be searchable on Apple and Spotify tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
But I've got 2 podcasts each with weekly episodes, and I'm like, holy crap, that's a lot. So I can't imagine a daily commitment.
The thing is, I'm traveling also this week on Friday to North Carolina. I have a wedding that I'm covering.
Yep.
Because I'm also a videographer and a photographer.
Sure.
So that is just a side gig that I have. So it seems like I'm so busy with editing. I'm actually done with editing till October 29th.
Wow.
Because I do all the marketing and everything on my own. I don't do anything else besides
That's great.
that. I don't know.
Well, when will this episode air, by the way? I'll put it in my calendar.
Okay, yeah. So that's a really awesome question, right? Okay, let me see. Yeah, because apparently we're all organized right now.
Dude, I need some of that.
Wow, how time flies. Okay. This is pretty funny, you know that? Should I tell you the funny thing or the serious thing?
Yeah, either one.
Which one do you want first?
Give me the serious thing first.
The serious thing? November 23rd.
The week of Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
That's actually awesome. What's the funny thing?
Okay, that's a serious thing. You want the funny thing?
Yes.
The funny thing is I was debating to close the season on the 19th.
I'm glad I got in under the radar.
Oh my god, it was too funny. Okay, so that actually tells me that I need to close it in December, it looks like.
If you're doing that good, yeah, that's awesome, man.
You think December is a good day to... Because, I really thought nobody would listen during holiday. And I'm saying to myself...
I disagree with that.
I disagree with that also. I've been debating it for the last couple of weeks.
So I have a new listener. I'm going to tell you this example. I shared this earlier in a podcast room that I was hosting with Billy Thorpe. I had a guy reach out to me 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, telling me about that he's enjoying listening to my podcast. He's new to the podcast. And then he reached out last week, asking me a question about something. And I'm 77 episodes, I think. What launched today was episode 77, I think, Girish.
Okay.
This guy is going back and literally listening to every episode.
Really?
All the way back to April 2020 when I sounded like a snot-nosed brat doing podcasts because I was awful at the very beginning, right? And so he's like made his way up to like episode 30 something, and he sent me a question about it. He's like, "Oh, this episode was really good. Can you tell me about this, or who should I?" I'm like,
but you know, I've been looking at the ratings, not the ratings, but the average.
76. Yep.
I'm averaging roughly 20 episodes download. Almost
20
per
downloads
day.
per episode?
Per day.
Oh, per day? Wow.
Almost per day.
That's great.
And the minimum that I've done is like maybe 10. So, is that good?
I mean, to me, I rarely look at the analytics. Okay?
I mean, I just look at just to boost myself, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, if I look at it overall, I mean, it's 7,800 downloads so far.
Dude, that's awesome. That's awesome. Because there's a difference between a listener and a community. And what you're really trying to do is build a community and not just listeners.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And so, you know, I don't look at them. Let me reframe that. I look at them about every couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And I'm trending. I get a notice from Buzzsprout, my host, about how many downloads I get each week.
Yeah.
So I kind of have an idea. I'm averaging about 200 downloads a week. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not just a current episode. That's all of them. So 200, they had 200 listens, if you will, during the course of a week. And I don't know. I mean, I could go in and dive in and look, but at the end of the day, I'm not that focused on it. I'm focused on just getting more content out there.
Yeah, I don't know. It's telling me 7,800, and it's telling me that I've already reached my achievements and all that crazy stupid stuff.
Who's your host? Who's your host?
Buzzsprout.
Oh, Buzzsprout. Okay, awesome. It's great.
So because it tells you that whole blue ribbon nonsense, whatever.
Yep.
And
that's awesome.
When
did you start?
In January.
Okay, so I started in April of 2020. Okay. And between my Anchor downloads and the Buzzsprout downloads, I'm a little over 10,000 total downloads. Okay. And that's in a year and a half. And you're not even a year in, and you're already at 70.
Yeah, but here's the thing. In January, when I spoke with you, I don't know, whenever I started Clubhouse, right? From January till last week of June, I've been releasing every Friday.
Good for you.
Okay? And then July till today's date, I'm releasing every day.
That's great.
So I don't know.
It's great, man. I mean, it's, you know, as long as you can be consistent, the listeners will come. And you're doing a great job at marketing it too. So
I've been, you saw, right? I've been doing some little snippets here and there now on my thing. And people are liking and feedbacking. I'm like, whoa, where did this happen? So I'm like,
that's
okay.
great. That's what you want.
You know, I always wanted to do it. I just never really had the chance because I was trying to catch up with editing. And now I'm caught up with editing. Now I have little free time.
Well, I outsource my editing, so she's on my ass all the time about where's the next episode, which I get like 5 or 6 episodes ahead, and then I fall behind. Like this week I'm behind, but after this week I'll be 6 episodes ahead again because of all that I recorded.
But you know, the thing is that when I do this OBS nonsense that I'm doing here, I don't have to do much editing. I just have to add music at the end and the beginning.
Good for you.
And then that's all I got to do.
Good for you, man.
That is all I got to do.
Simple and easy.
Simple and easy. So, yeah.
But it was great to see you. Thanks for
Sid. Thank you again for doing this. I mean, I know it was kind of last minute, and you know, but thank you again. Thank you.
I'm happy to do it. I've got several more planned. I enjoy it very much. So
I hope you enjoy the show. By the way,
yeah, I will go listen.
Cool.
I'll go find it and add it to my playlist. I listen to right now. I'm listening to podcasts when I drive.
Nice.
Which it seems that we're driving every weekend. Like yesterday, I probably listened to 6 different podcasts because we've been driving to go watch my daughter play soccer. And so it's a couple of hours each way, depending on where they're playing. And so that's typically when I'm listening. So
yeah, I just learned something a few days ago that I should not be uploading MP3s. I should be uploading WAV files, which I didn't realize.
I couldn't even tell what's the difference because
there is a difference because so there's a audio editor technician who works at one of the TV shows down in India, and he says that he was on Clubhouse the other day. He came in my club by accident.
Nice.
And there's a show called Coke Studio. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's a live band and singers. So he's the technician behind it, like, you know, the audio editor mixer, you want to call it. So he says that the WAV file is more better than MP3s, because that will compress the audio file.
Oh, wow.
So I didn't know that.
Interesting. No,
so now
I know this much, man.
Yeah. So now I'm compiling it with a WAV file and I upload it. So the last 5 episodes that I've done so far, they're all WAV files.
Can you tell a difference in listening to them?
Before, no, but after when he mentioned it, I'm gonna say yes.
Okay.
Now
that you got that education.
No, but it's really minute difference, right?
Sure.
But then from a regular person, I don't think he gives a shit.
Yeah. So true.
But you know, the thing is, from professionals like us, we should know it, I guess.
Should pay a little more attention.
Yeah. But thank you again. I like to pick your brain sometimes. Thank you.
Just let me know when.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Thank you. God bless.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Girish. Have a good one.
Take care. God bless. Bye bye.
Recording